Hi everyone, I hope you can hear me okay and got connected okay. I'm just going to give it a little couple of minutes, have a few people still joining us today. So I'll just give it a wee 2 secs, thanks. Okay, I'll just kick this off because I know you guys are quite busy today. So for those of you that have been on one of these before, just to give a little update, I think this is Club V1 Small Bites number 8, I think. And the intention of these is to give you a little short training session on certain aspects of Club V1. Now, I hope everyone can hear me and see me okay.
Yeah, morning, John.
No bother, thanks, all right. Okay, so what I'll probably do is I'll just probably mute you all just now while I run through some things. And as I said, I'll then click it back on and we can go over any queries and questions you've got. As I was mentioning there, this is a quick overview of certain modules of Club V1 that maybe you're using or not even using at all, or to be honest, some clubs don't even know are in there in Club V1. I'm just going to give a quick overview of them. If you have a certain part of the aspect I'm going through, want some more information on it, just drop me a little email and we can arrange a one-to-one and I can go over each club's obviously got their own specific details. Okay, so I'll just stick these on mute just for 2 seconds here. Well, first before I do that, I'll just check everybody can see my screen. Okay, yeah. Okay. Okay. So if we just quickly run through the first part of today is a little quick review of knockouts. We obviously have a knockout system in Club V1 that's been there for a number of years, and I'm just going to quick run through how you can set up your entry fees, do your draws, look at tie booking, and you can enter results. So basically, let's just have a little look at it in Club V1. I just click on my Club V1. So basically, in Club V1, I've got a little shortcut there, but in Club V1, if you go to your home screen, you'll see under golf, there's a section called knockouts. When you click on knockouts, you have the option of add a knockout. Now I've got a seeded one there and I'll explain that a little bit in a minute why I've got that there, but just to explain, nothing more complicated than you simply add your knockout in here. Basically, whatever you want to call it. Let's just call it knockout, nice and simple. Okay, now this little bit here, knockout rules. A little tip with this, just to say, obviously you can put your rules for the knockout, whatever you have, if they don't play by the date you've set, don't put it through. But a little handy rule tip to put in there is when one big advantage of using knockouts in Club V1 is when you do the draw is that the competitors will get a notification of their opponent's contact details. And there's a handy little tip, just a little line in here saying that in entering this knockout, you accept that we will share your details with your opponent. Now, you may think it's common sense that you would share your opponent, how they're going to arrange the tie, arrange to play, but you will get some member who will say, GDPR, I never gave you permission to share my contact details with someone else. So just a little tip over the last few years that I've advised some clubs to do. Just a little hip there. Okay. Obviously, you can do singles, draw type now, seeded. I'll go into that a little bit in a minute. I'm not going in that seriously today. I know some people might ask about that. I think that's maybe a one-to-one thing with some clubs, but I'll just go over how it does work. Basically, all that stuff's just basic setup, gents, men's, whatever. Continue. Course card, obviously, mainly just whatever course card, doesn't matter so much. You can select courses and basically sign in. What you sign in, knockout. If you sign in, basically, you are then allowing the person to basically sign in to knockout. Now, I could set this to be from today till November for my knockout next year. I can put this enabled for as long as I like to want to do it. Obviously, you want a shutdown date when you're going to shut it down for entries. Okay, mind down to date. Now, a handy little tip, I've did some stuff in the past about competition charging. handy little tip is quite handy is you can enable competition charging. And those of you that use competition charging at present, now, as you know, you don't actually have to have our till system to do competition charging. Those of you that are on maybe lower levels, not in the premium level with the app or even with the EPOS systems, you can still use competition charging and take these entry fees. And again, I can go over that with individually how you wish to do that. But basically, use an entry fee. What this saves a lot is means basically that you don't have those of us that have been for a number of years working with systems, those little brown envelopes that members have to drop off with their £2 or the pound entry fee that someone has to count through. So basically, they will be charged £1 to sign in. You can also competition charging, you could, if you wish, add an optional charge item. Basically, what this is that even you set your entry fee, say £1, you can give the members the option if they wish to basically donate some other money to it if you wish. So they could, if they wish, donate, for example, you decided that this knockout is going to donate £1 to the captain's charity. You can add that in as well. So to say that's an option to do. Cancel that. Okay, I'll just leave it as basic, nice, simple just now. Continue. That's my knockout basically created, knockout in there. Now, what I can do, obviously, is I can simply add here and add in the players and put in who's wishing to play in the knockout, okay, from this, as you can do with any competition. But probably what maybe you want to beneficial do is those of you that have the Club V1 app and go to my app, basically in my app, what you will then see now is in the app, under Club, under Knockouts, there is that knockout. So there's that knockout we have just created. What I can then do as a member, I can click in, there's a knockout, and I wish to enter that knockout to put my name in, and it says mandatory charge of £1. Okay, and it says, John, you'll be charged £1 to enter this competition, enter. So as long as I've got money in my card, I am entered that competition. Nothing more complicated than that. Now, if I go back to the Club V1 system, let's add some players in rather than waiting for them all to sign in from home. If I just add in some players, let's see, I've only got a couple in here. Let's see, I've got here. Let's see, purchase. Always get purchase. Okay, he's ready. So ready signed in. So he signed in himself, which you will get. Members phone you twice. Save. Okay. So put there, and then I'm only got a couple of people in here. Just I'm basically going over the system here. And what I simply then do is I would then do my draw, basically, and do my draw, Nothing more complex than that. You do the draw, it does the draw for you. Apart from if I wish, then I'm there. I can keep redrawing this till I get the buy it, if I wish. It's got to change everything through it. So you could, if you wish, keep redrawing it. Let's go through it. Now, if you've got this done here, this is my draw already done, still not got my buy. But what you can do as well is you can click on here and you can then set the dates that those basically they have to play that tie by. Okay, nothing more complicated than that. They put it there. Okay. What I did mention as well is I can notify entrants and send the entrants basically notification of who they're playing. So I would get an email that I'm playing Cathkin, I'm playing Cathkin Brace. Okay. Now, just while I'm on this part, just to mention about seeded draw. When you create a draw, and I'll tell you what, let me just delete this and I'll do it from scratch. When you add in a knockout, okay, let's do seeded, we'll call it seeded. Okay. Okay. You'll see the option of seeded. Now, I'll be honest, this isn't very clever. We're doing a lot of development on this, hopefully during the winter time for next season. But I can at the moment click on handicap. It's not great, I'll be the first to say, but I'll just go through and show you how it works. And as I said, it's a little bit pokery there working. Sign in again, same as before. I'll not bother charging on this one. Okay. And basically what I can then do is set my seeds and basically say, so let's look at entries, sorry. Let's add some people in. Just stick these people in. Sorry. Put these seeds in. Save. Okay. And then I can then select my seeds. Now, obviously, my seeds, I can then decide who I don't want the seeding to be doing. It does work basically here And if I set, I don't want Burgess to be now. I've also been in the industry for a couple of years now, just a little through. Obviously, I understand that some clubs don't want their two club champions meeting in the first round. What I would just counteract to that is, as a member of a golf club, I might say, why are they getting a bye and I'm not? Just because they're good players. So you need to watch when you start talking about seeding things. I know you might have your top 16 competition, but general seeding, need to watch with this that you're not giving preference just to people who are accused of stuff. But if I do set the seedings, save the seedings, and do the draw, okay, the draw, you'll see it puts those people so they don't meet. Okay, now there's a little bit on this which I'm just going to quickly glance on, but I need to go over, if you wish, a little bit further through. I can technically go in here and remove that person and replace them, but I need to have a spare person to put in there just now. And this is where it's a bit of a faff to do this. But what I would then do is I can go to entries, and if I add a player, let's say I've created a player called spare just to use in this circumstance. If I save, I've got him in there as a spare. He's not player, but 5 entries, but I'm looking for draws. But what I can then do is go to draw. I can take Cathkin Braze out of there, temporarily stick my spare in, click on here and put in Cathkin Braze in there. As I said, it's not it's a bit of a manual with that there, but it can be done a bit of everything through, but hopefully I'm trying to get it through. Now, what I can do while we're in here as well, I've got knockout charging here, back to my charging, to my draw. Okay, I can also click here and I can put the results in of that knockout. But obviously, to help handicap winners and make your work a bit easier, big thing is obviously in the app. If I go back to my app, and you'll see that I'm in this draw. What you ideally want is your members can click here and they can actually enter the match result within the app. So I can basically say I won, which I wouldn't win anyway. Okay, it holds up, 2 up, 1 to go, whatever. Okay. What that then does is you enter score, that updates it back on your back here, basically. I'll update back here. What you can also do in the app as well, which is members, is obviously, again, show my age slightly. Those of us that had the big Bellhaven sign right down the side of the building where you had to write in all the names and put all the manual names in. In the app, what's quite good in a way is I can actually, if I wish, in the app, view the full draw as well, where I can see all the results and I can see everything through. So ideally, let's go through. You can, if you want, you can basically print the draw out, okay? But as I said, it doesn't work great. You can download it CSV or you can save an image of it. I'll be honest, it's always been an issue. Easy if you've got a small entry level, but obviously quite through. So that's just a quick overview of the knockouts system. I'll just close those down. So basically that's just, as I said, just a quick overview of knockouts. I know some of you will have further questions on that, but what I would say is just give me a heads up and we can go over that. So the next wee part I wanted to just go over today was basically club leagues. Leagues. Basically, this is a facility in Club V1 for clubs can set up leagues if they wish. Probably winter leagues is probably the most common one I come across, basically. And you can just do result calculation leagues. Basically, looking at this, back to my Club V1. Okay. Again, what I've got in my golf thing, I've got a thing called leagues. And basically, all I want to do leagues is I can add a league. What the league's going to be, test, whatever. I can work out what many best scores I want to include in this league. Is it the top best 3, best 4, best 5? If it's teams, I can also do that as well. Let's just put best 3. Continue. Simply put the competitions. Now, I don't have any competitions set up here, so basically you just set the competition, but you then select the competitions you wish to be included in there in your league, basically, and you would then, so if mine went through, just set through. Then basically when you've got your league, you then just create your teams. Nothing more complicated, it just basically runs your leagues. There's not much to this, it's just to show you it's there, but we can just work with it. As I said, I know it's a quick overview of it, but if someone's looking at leagues, winter leagues, whatever, just give me a shout and we can go over that. Okay. So the next part, I'm just trying to go over today. I know it's a bit of a rush, sorry, but basically is one of my favourites, I must admit, I think quite easy, is Order of Merit. Now, Order of Merit in Club V1 has been something there for a number of years. Where it's come in quite good to use now is obviously because we don't have winter handicap system anymore. A lot of my clubs quite like to use order merit for winter competitions now to give a little bit of fun for winter, and it also helps. So basically, back into order merit. Okay, I should keep my clubby one open. So basically, order merit is basically in the same section in your golf section. Nice and simple, order merit. All you simply do is when you add in an order of merit, okay, whatever you wish to call it, men, ladies, mix, whatever, how your score is calculated. Now, these points allocation is depending on how you wish to allocate your points. You can change. Most clubs do the default 1. Okay, but you can add, each club's got their own way. These are taken by clubs used to run. Yeah, test, okay. It's funny actually, I used to test do not enter because when you test, these members tend to put stuff in. And basically in here is the points allocation I'm going to assign. So if you're first, you'll get 10 points, 9, whatever. But a handy little tip that some clubs do is I can add another position and I can keep going down to as far as I like to 20th or whatever I wish. What some clubs will do is go down to 20, and if you're in 20, you'll still get a point. And that's what I was mentioning earlier about winter time. Clubs quite like it because it encourages people to play in their winter competitions or things. So you might have a winter order of merit. And then next part simply is you then select the competitions that you wish to include. Okay. And as I said, you can then also apply filters on who you wish to basically be in this order of merit. So earlier we talked about filters in a previous small bites. But basically, if it's a winter league for your over 60s, I could apply that to only your over 60s can play in it. So as I said, it's nice and simple through. And basically you can then just, as I said, do the allocation. Handy little thing to use. Works great. I think it's nice and easy for members to understand to get points. And some clubs might allow that the more you turn up, the more points you get. So I might turn up 20 times, but you might only win once and get 10 points. Depends how you wish to do it. So as I said, another wee quick overview of that section on the system there. And as I said, multiple ways to play about with it. And I would say, and as I said, you've got normal little print you can print if you wish and update results. Okay, that's it. Sorry. So as I said, that's 3 sort of quick things I went over, and the reason just for that is that these are sort of little modules there that maybe clubs don't use fully, don't realise in the system. But the reason I just wanted to go over this quite quickly is to leave a little bit of a time to go over what probably is a very useful tool in Club V1 that clubs are not using greatly, and obviously we do have plans to develop this even further because it is becoming very useful for clubs, and that is basically the Team Manager section of Club V1. Now, Team Manager Club V1, as it says there, basically allows you to create your teams, arrange your fixtures. The members can then let you know they're available. And we've done it, as I said, we're now going to be doing a bit of more development work in Team Manager. And the first thing we've added in recently now is for those of you that have our booking system is to allow an integration with the T-sheet. So if I click on this little section just to say, I'll close some of these Club V1s. Basic Club V1. So again, all of your golf section, golf Team Manager. Yeah. So basically, Team Manager, just click on team and you create your team. Okay, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want description you wish to give it, is a male, field, mixed team, whatever. Okay, team. Okay, you create your team. Okay. So you can create all your teams you've got. Okay, now I've just created that team, and if you want, you can click and you can put a picture of that team, whatever they want through. You can also set a webcam of them all if they win at the end of the season. If you want, whatever, you can put stuff in it. Okay, I'll just go delete that one. Just to say, just have to keep it system nice and tidy. I've got 2 teams here basically, and I've got the teams basically is just my club team. Now in my club team, I've got my squad basically, and in that squad there basically is just the people who are actually members of that thing. And I can click here and I can add in those teams now to join. Now also you'll see here I've got a volunteer team. Okay. And that's just where some clubs might have, just to let you know, taken away from the golf side, some clubs will also create teams for, this is actually came from, be honest, my clubs have taught me this, that they have a volunteers team. So you might have volunteers. So I've got here like to put up the Christmas decorations this year, or you might need starters, marshals for a golf event. So you might have a marshals volunteers team for that. One of my club has a junior team where they actually have the juniors in that for the days that a couple of events that they need caddies. They'll put the fixtures need caddies, and then the juniors can say they're available or not through. So it's just to say, thinking slightly out of the box, this has came from clubs. You can also have, take this away from golf side, you can go through. But let's look at this golf side first. Basically, we've got the team. And what you do is you can then add your fixture. And when you add your fixture in, basically you put who's your opponent, little description, diary event, do you wish to go in the diary event? Public means that basically everybody can see it. So in the diary, anybody can see in the diary that you're playing that event, when it's going to be, when it starts, where the venue is. You can specify a meet time and reserve tee times. So basically, if I look at the one I've created here, okay, okay, and edit this one, just go through. Okay, so that's my team I'm editing, sorry. I edit this fixture, so that's just fixture. So basically, what I've stuck in here is we're playing against Portpatrick. We're playing as a home round of the Sinclair Cup. I've marked it as a diary event. I don't really want it and everybody to see it. I tend to say most people should let everybody see this through. We're going to play on the 5th of October. The venue is going to be at Cardinal Golf Club, so we're playing at our own golf club. I've said we want to have a meet time. So basically, yep, guys, let's meet in the car park and let's meet at 11 o'clock. Want me to pump up the team and get them ready to play. So I want some pre-time through. And what I've said here is basically I want to, so as the team manager, again, you can let me do it. I want to reserve tee times, and basically all I then do is reserve times. And when I'll put it off to know, if I click to yes, all it basically says to me is what course do I wish to reserve, what time do I wish to reserve, time through. Okay. And if I confirm that, yep, if I go to the tee sheet, what that means is that on the tee sheet, the calendar's Club V1 tee sheet. So what was that, the 5th October, I think I set that for, 5th October. You'll see that this is reserved for the club fixture of the home round of the Sinclair Cup. And it's got a big T on it, so it's a team event. Okay. And if I want, I can click on that and it'll take me back to it and I can look at it. Okay, set it through. So it's just, we've added that integration to tee sheet so you can block it right away. Now, that's where teams, you set things up. Now, where this also comes really to very handy to use is that before I get into managing the squad and things through, as a Club V1 person, so let's look at my squad here. And what I'll do is I'm going to remove me from squad just for 2 seconds. Okay, so I'm no longer in that squad. But what it does mean, if I go back to my app, okay, in my club app, I've got club teams, my team, so as a team. And as a member, I can see all the teams that are in the club. And there's this team that I've got, there's one member, I'm not a member of it. Now, what you can allow is, I wish to join that team. So it's handy to encourage members to join your teams. They know what teams exist, they know what team they can join. But even though I apply to join that team, yep, goes by his team. Okay, your team manager back in Club V1, go back to my app, okay. Yeah. He will then get the option to approve me to join that team or not. I'm not automatically in the team. So you might have a circumstance that you'd have to have a certain handicap to join the team. It's just so it's not set that you will be on the team, but then most of the time you just accept I'm in the team and that's me in the team. Okay. If I go back to the app now, it then means that basically if I look at the app, I can draw them up against what I like, but I the app, I'm now in that team. You see 2 members. And what I can do for the person is I can click on that and I can see what is the matches that are coming up, and I can say, do you know what, I'm going to be available for that one. Okay. Now, where that integration works really well back in my Club V1, if I go back to my, sorry, close that one down, back to my system here, what I've then got is availability. And I can see here, based looking at availability, that Mr. Burgess isn't available for that match, but John is. So again, handy little thing if you want to send out through. If I then go back to my squad, basically, I can't, sorry, Valentine. Okay, the squad there. So I've got all the system there. Go back. What I then do, I've got a couple of different options here. And what I've got options here, basically, and I've not got many in here, but as team manager, I can manage the squad. And if I want to manage the squad, there's there, confirm, that's who I've got in the squad. And I can add people in if I like, okay, from the squad. And I can add people to it, okay. If I look at the fixtures, okay, what I can do is I go to the fixtures, I can then pick the team. And what I do is if I want to pick my match team, you'll see there's the players that have told me they're available. So I might say, yep, John, do you know what? You're going to play, but Burgess, I'm going to put you in reserve. Sorry, take him out there. I'm going to put you in reserve. Okay. So I can have my reserve players and my selected players. Okay. As I said, we are looking to a little bit more update on this slightly to make it me email. That's quite simple there to do, but if I confirm that, it's just come out there. Pick, confirm. Obviously, I can then email available players. We are looking a little bit of, this is where we just let you know, do a little bit of development on that, is where we're going to improve this a little bit to allow you to send different messages to reserved and to your players you've picked. We need this changed a little bit just to go through it. I mean, so it goes out to players through. Okay, but as I said, it's handy things. And also, we are adding also an app notification. This is mainly came from just now. It's not in just now, but those with the app, this thing added in, link to new app, etc. Is basically if I'm sitting there in the car park and Mr. Burgess has not turned up, I might want to drop a little app notification to say, where are you? So it's just to say we have some things in there to go through. So as I said, it's a handy feature to use. The more you use it, the better it's going to become, I think. Fortunately, we have some help from some guys at D-Side and Rob Dean, good team managers, who are giving us some feedback. Yes, I have a big long list of requests to put to our development on this, on certain things, and hopefully with more of you maybe using it now, it will bring some help for that through. Okay, so as I said, I know it's quite a quick overview of what those couple of modules. We have been trying to keep these down to like half an hour week catch-ups. I'll have another in a couple of weeks. I think actually next one's coming up just on opens I'm doing, just for open settings, just so you know. One thing as well, just to follow up on this, obviously for more info, you can contact me and I can get info, arrange some demos for you on this or go over any aspects of it. Obviously, those of you that have all registered will get an automatic recording of this if you don't let me know. And also, if you have missed any previous recordings, I think you may have missed any previous recordings, drop me a little email and I'll send you a list. I've got a list of all the previous ones we've done with links to all the previous recordings on certain aspects that I can go over with. So I'm just going to come off this a little minute and go back to screen and I'll see one meet result. Okay, so has anyone got any questions or anything aspects of that? Maybe like me just to go over a little bit further. No. Hi, David. Yep. Oops, hi, David. I think you're muted, David. You hear me, David? No. Start hearing in, David. Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Are you now? Yep, got you now. Sorry, mate. Yeah, thanks.
I knew I'd find the button eventually. I know we have on the seeded draws for the match for our club champs. We have a qualifier, and the RNA rules require that number 1 plays number 32, seed number 2 in the draw, etc. And the only way we can manage that is by putting spare people in.
Yeah, what I have, so that's the way I was doing it there, and it's really complicated. When I say it's complicated to do it, to give you a little history is that we did put seeded in at one point a couple of years ago, and for some reason we seeded by the way that Wimbledon does tennis. Don't ask me why we didn't do golf. we did it through. I'll get you an update. I asked a little prior to this where we are with doing a bit of update on the seeded draws. Obviously, we have been doing a lot of development on a new app at the moment, but I'm waiting for an update on that, and I'll let you know where we are. We're getting that stuff sorted.
Perfect. Thanks, John.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else got any specific? As I said, quite happy if anybody after this wants to drop me a little email, any specific queries on that, just get back to me, and I can arrange a specific one-on-one call or whatever and go over. Obviously, every club has their own way of working. So I'm just David. Sorry, Bruce. When this thing about the two players, if they don't pay by the date, yes, you can set the result of that tie. So you've got control back office to set the tie if they don't. So if someone comes through and says, it's like any knockout, you know it's going to happen. They'll come and say, I've tried to contact this guy, he's not arranged the tie or whatever. You need that little bit of verification that you're checking on that. But you would then, if they've not played by the date, it's really how strict you are as a club on who and what your decision making is and putting that person through. Okay. Okay. Yep. Robert, yep.
Hi, it's in the results. We've quite often found that players have gone to the 18, 19, 20th, and that result is not catered for. I know you get one up, but it doesn't really show for players playing further on.
Is that on the
match play? Yeah.
Match play.
Yeah.
Drop me the email on that, and I'll just check what their issue is, just so I can maybe investigate and see if there is an issue with that.
I mean, it's got the holes up and how many to play, but it doesn't give you the availability to put maybe 19th, 20th hole, because they have to play extra holes.
Oh yes, so yeah, I know what you mean. Yes, so they've got to play 19th or 20th hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of that. Yeah, no, I never thought of that. What I would say is drop me a little email, just remind me of that, and I'll check with that, because I've never even thought of that. But let me see what I can find out about that.
Okay, thank you.
I think, sorry, no, they've got to put through a no, I think they can just put their name through straight through without the result. They don't have to enter. No, they have to. Sorry, yeah, they have to put a result in, or what the result is, because it won't just bomb out. It won't complete that second part of that. Yeah. Anyone else? We all right? Yeah. As I said, I know it's just a quick overview of 4 modules in 1.5 hour, but the intention is try and keep them like that. As I said, when you get the recordings, but as I said, any specific ones like that, you have specific questions like that, just come back and let me know. And I would say drop my email. So I remember, to be honest, I'll put my hand up so I don't forget. I'll remember and check that through, and I can then get back to you with that, if that's okay. So if everyone's okay, I'm just going to quickly wrap this up. It'll be okay. And as I said, anyone has, just contact me directly. Or you said you can phone the office and support. But if you want to drop me an email, I'm quite happy to have a little play about some of the problems or ideas you wish me to look at. Okay. So thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. And hopefully see you the next one in a couple of weeks. Obviously, I'm away for a couple of days, fortunately on holiday for a few days in sunny Jersey next week. So hopefully we can come back, we'll catch up. Thank you.
Thank you.